Hey everybody, it's Alex, the founder at Motoroso.com, and in this video we're going to be talking about the Baja Designs Squadron Pro LED Auxiliary Light Kit for my brand new 2022 KTM 890 Adventure R. Now the headlights on these new modern bikes are all converted over to LED, and yes, they're quite a bit better than they used to be, but the total brightness output is limited by our government to make it a road-going motorcycle for safety reasons, so you can't blind oncoming drivers. But if you're in the backcountry on an off-road ride at night and you need more light to ride safely or to ride fast, then the headlight's simply not going to cut it. And the folks over at Baja Designs have been developing and testing lighting for off-road racing in some of the harshest conditions you can imagine, like the Score Baja 1000. And being that those are some of the harshest conditions you can imagine, trickling that technology down to consumer products means you're going to get a nice high-level output, and it's going to stand up to all the punishment that you can throw at it. Now, Baja Designs makes universal light kits for adventure bikes that can clamp to crash bars. And I've actually used one of those kits on my Ducati, and it was great. But whenever possible, they like to design application-specific kits to make sure that they get the lighting as high as it can be and tucked away and as clean looking as possible. And that's what you're seeing here. Now this kit works for the 19 to 2022 790 and 890 Adventure and Adventure R models. I believe this kit actually also works for the 390, excuse me. So what they've done here is an application specific bracket that's 3/16" black powder coated steel that mounts right up here to the frame that hosts the headlight housing, giving you a really nice sturdy mount, and it tucks the lights up just about as high as you could possibly get them on the bike, which is really important because if the lights are too low on the bike, that can actually light up the ground in front of you as well, and that's going to actually reduce your field of vision further up the trail because there's too much brightness in front of you. So getting those lights high really does actually matter. Now this features the Squadron Pros. Each of these pods puts out 4,600 lumens for a total of 9,200 lumens. That is a crazy amount of light, and make sure you stick through to the end of the video. We're going to take it out with our GoPro and show you just how bright these are versus the stock headlight, the stock high beam, and then these Squadron Pros. Now, the way that the light is diffused is actually customizable from the factory. Now, it's going to come with their driving combo lenses. These lenses are half spot lens, which throws the light as far up the trail as possible, and it's half diffused, and that means it's spreading the light around so you get ditch and side lighting as well. Now, if you know you want more long distance lighting, you could change one or both of these lenses out for just their spot clear lens. If you know you prefer to ride at low speeds through technical terrain and you want as much diffused lighting as possible, you can change one or both of these over to fully diffused wide cornering lenses. So the customizability and the ability to change these lenses and service them is one of the main features of a quality light like this that comes from Baja Designs. Now, additionally, you could also upgrade to their amber lenses. And amber lenses are good if you're going to be riding in very wet conditions, especially in snowy conditions where everything is white out. The white light is not always good in those conditions, and an amber lens is going to give you a different color that helps you actually see what's going on. So again, just the ability to customize the light output, both the color and the diffusion, is really, really nice about these Squadrons. Now, of course, it also comes with the necessary wiring harness and the handlebar switch for a really clean install, and we're going to show you how to do that install next. Now, additionally, they also make this kit if you don't want quite this kind of level of output of light, or you don't like this size of pod, they are making this with their S1 pod. So instead of a 3x3, that's a 1¼ inch by 1¼ inch pod, and those put out a little bit less light. It's about 2,375 lumens. So for the pair, you're going to be just under 4,800 lumens. In my opinion, though, these both look great and throw off almost double the light, and it is nowhere near double the price. So we'll put links to both of these kits in the description of this video, and we'll put a link to this Squadron Pro Kit right here. That link will take you over to Motoroso.com where you can buy these kits, or you can hit us on live chat or call us toll free at 833-MOTOROSO. Now we're going to show you how to do the install on this 890 Adventure R. It's a super straightforward project, and then make sure you stick around to the end of the video for the light test. Before we can install the Baja Designs bracket, we first need to remove the 2 splash guard trim pieces on each side of the bike, followed by the 2 bolts securing the fairing bar and the 2 bolts directly underneath the headlight assembly. All of these bolts are Torx T30. Next, slide the mounting bracket over the fairing bar bracket to align the bolt holes and replace the OEM bolts, then replace the 2 bolts under the headlight and fasten. We recommend using blue Loctite when replacing all these bolts. Now that the bracket is mounted, we can reinstall the splash guards, and you can access these side bolts via the clearance hole that's in the bracket. Now it's time to assemble our Squadron Pros. Using the provided 4mm bolts and their spring washers, secure the lights to their brackets in this orientation with the spring washer between the bracket and the light housing. Snug these enough to hold them in place, but that the bracket can still be moved. Now on the bike, place the squadrons and fasten to the top of the mount using the provided 14mm bolts, washers, and nylock nuts. We had to mount these at the outermost position to allow enough clearance to move the lights to a desired angle. Next, we'll install the wiring harness and the switch. Start by removing your seat. Next, we need to remove the tank cover, and you can do this by removing the two T30 bolts on either side of the cover. On the left side of the bike, we're going to remove the side fairing to run the wires. Using the T30 bit, remove the two black bolts on the left inside radiator fairing. Then the one black bolt on the side and also the silver bolt here from under the seat. To access the final bolt and slide off the fairing, you'll need to pull outward on the rear fairing to release the pop clip. Once this last bolt is removed, you can remove the side fairing by pushing forward and pulling out to remove the last pop clip. Using an 8mm socket, remove the battery leads on the corresponding positive and negative terminals. On our harness, the connectors weren't quite fitting around the terminal bolts, so we just cut them down the middle with a set of dikes, and then they easily went around the bolt. Fully tighten the terminal bolts. Run the harness along the left side of the bike as shown here and pass it through the opening in the tank behind the triple clamps. Make sure you zip tie everything to keep it in place. Moving up to the handlebars, loosen the clutch lever bar clamp using a 5mm Allen and slide it over to make room for the auxiliary light switch. Using a small Phillips head screwdriver, loosen the switch clamp and then mount it to the bar, fully tightening when you like the location. You can now run the switch harness down and through the OEM wire bundle. Connect the switch harness to the battery harness. Next, connect the switch harness to the wire splitter harness, followed by connecting both squadrons to the splitter harness. Make sure to run your wires in a way that they won't impede with any steering function. Note, it's very important to turn your handlebars and look at all the wiring to make sure that no connectors are interfering with the lock-to-lock movement of your handlebars, that no connectors are going to get smashed while riding, and that none of the wiring gets pulled too tight. So as you can see, we zip tied all the wiring tightly alongside the fairing bar bracket, allowing for a clean look and unhindered steering functionality. Next, reattach the side and radiator fairings and refasten all the T30 bolts, securing them to the bike. Also reattach the tank cover and refasten those two T30 bolts. Lastly, replace your KTM seat, and just like that, you're ready to take on the night. So for our nighttime test, I went out for a little sunset ride in the San Luis Obispo Mountains to show you just how these 9200 lumens change the night riding experience. Now I found the handlebar switch location was easy to use, and I was comfortable switching the lights on and off even in technical or high-speed situations. One of the most noticeable improvements is the side lighting. Because of the diffusion portion of those combo lenses, it really helps spread the light around, and this made a huge difference over the stock headlights to see around tight corners. And obviously the spot lens portion also sent light way further up the trail, helping me to see what obstacles were coming and feeling a lot more confident at higher speeds. All right, we hope you found that video helpful. If you'd like to purchase this kit, we'll put a link to that right here. And we'll put a link to both this kit and the S1 version in the description of this video. Those links will take you over to Motoroso.com, and you can reach us on live chat or call us toll free at 833-MOTOROSO anytime. Now, if you'd like to learn more about adventure touring luggage, check out this video right over here for our Givi side racks and hard cases that we set this bike up with. We've been loving those for our longer adventure rides. Thanks for watching.